Today we're diving deep into the streets of Goa to overindulge in the world's most divisive protein, pork.
I never used to eat pork because I never knew what is pork. So I just took a small bite of it and I felt it was very tasty.
Join as we uncover the top 4 mouth-watering porky creations that this Indian state has to offer. And stay tuned, because at the end of this adventure, we'll see the most expensive pork dish in all of Goa, a whole roasted piglet. But first, let's kick things off with the pork Tadena, arguably the fattiest pork dish in town. Pork. It's the protein powerhouse that fuels countless countries from Mexico to Hawaii. Yet for billions around the world, including Muslims, Buddhists, Jewish folks, and certain Christian denominations, swine is strictly off limits. In Goa, well, pork is fair game. Our journey begins with a local curry dish that's been quietly fading from Goan cuisine. Thankfully, at George Bar, this delicacy is preserved in its original form, unchanged for over 60 years. It's a taste of tradition, cooked today just as it was all those years ago.
Torradin was introduced by the Portuguese people, and Goan later on improved masala and taste of the Torradin, and most of the masala is specially done with the Goan toddy vinegar. Because of that, it gives the good flavor, and that's how it is very tasty and very famous.
Meet pork Tadena, or toasty pork. This ancient Goan gem, courtesy of the Portuguese, is prepared by grilling fatty pork pieces until they're crispy, succulent, and downright addictive. First, soak red chilies in vinegar overnight to dial down the heat and crank up the tang. The next day, toss them in a blender with salt, sugar, ginger paste, and garlic slices to get those flavors melding. Then add cumin seeds, black pepper, cloves, and cinnamon. The result is our Tadena masala. Next, add oil to a pan. Then immerse the boiling pork belly chunks for 5 minutes until the edges gain a delicious crisp. Mix in our masala blend, add a bit of water, and cook it well. To finish, sprinkle in a magical mixture of chopped green chilies and coriander to further enhance the dish's flavor profile. This is the type of pork dish that you'll need a 12-step program just to get over. The taste of Tadena is a delicious combination of sweet, savory, and spicy flavors. The standout taste, however, is the tangy kick from the Goan chili vinegar, which helps to cut through the pork's fattiness. Leveling up our pork game, we dive into the world of Indian pork sausage, the infamous Goen Chizo. This delicacy takes inspiration from Portugal's chorizo sausage. But here there's a twist. In India's humid climate, traditional European sausage making was a no-go, so locals began preserving the meat with vinegar, giving birth to Goa's signature sausage flavor.
Chorizo is from the Portuguese, which is continued by our Goans. Until now, it's very famous, not only in Goa, but all worldwide. So most sausages are going abroad, London, Portugal, England, and Mumbai also, a lot of people take it.
Start by finely dicing the pork meat, aiming for that ideal 70% lean meat and 30% fat ratio. Season this blend with everything in your spice cabinet. Think turmeric powder, salt, Goan toddy vinegar, ginger garlic paste, and a secret red masala mix featuring Kashmiri chilies, cumin, cardamom, cloves, and bay leaves. Allow these agents of flavor to infiltrate the meat for a couple of hours, infusing it with depth and character. Now it's time for the stuffing. Using a stuffing pump, carefully fill the pork intestine casings, ensuring a snug fit. Once stuffed, divide the sausage into smaller lengths, tying them off with a knot at each end. Smoke them over an open fire for a day or two, letting them soak up all that rich, smoky goodness until they reach that perfect dark crimson hue. It's like a tanning bed for sausages. These can stay good for up to a year, and when it's time to feast, just toss those sizzling links into a hot pan and let the aroma of pure porky perfection fill the air. This is a sausage experience like no other, infused with a subtle hint of coconut, courtesy of the Goan vinegar made with coconut fenny, a double distilled spirit. This dish delivers a uniquely tropical twist. Its rustic texture, achieved by using chopped meat instead of minced, ensures that every bite is a hearty revelation, with generous chunks of meat stealing the spotlight. Our third level of pork is nestled within the walls of the oldest hotel in Goa. This 130-year-old mansion not only preserves historical architecture, but also age-old recipes, including a pork masterpiece that contains pork fat, intestines, liver, and gizzards. Presenting Pork Sorpotel, a quintessential Indian pork curry that reigns supreme during the Christmas season in Goa, deeply rooted in the region's Portuguese colonial heritage.
Sorpotel came in Goa from Portuguese time, when the Portuguese were ruled with our youngsters. So that time in Christian activities, especially for the wedding, the communion, the baptism, we had a big huge buffet of Christianity. In that every dish we have to get Sorpotel. Without this, the entire buffet is empty. People say like if there's no Sorpotel, it's not a Goan food.
To kickstart this porky journey, we begin with the masala. Into the blender goes pepper, cumin, cloves, cardamom, garlic, dry red chilies, ginger, jaggery, and Goen vinegar, all whirling together into a spicy paste. Then chop up the pork fat, intestines, and other organs into small cubes. Heat up some oil in a pan and toss in our cubed organs, giving them a quick sauté before setting them aside. In the same pan, add more oil and sauté chopped onions until golden brown. Then introduce our masala mix. Pour in some pork stock and a touch more jaggery for sweetness. Sprinkle in 2 more spoonfuls of vinegar for that extra zing, followed by the triumphant return of our organ meats. Give it a good stir and serve with a garnish of freshly chopped coriander leaves. The flavors of this dish are as complex and rich as the history of Goa. It's a unique blend of familiar Indian spices with Portuguese tradition. Each organ contributes its own distinct flavor and texture, accentuated by the subtle tang of vinegar and mild spices. Our final level of pork is the most expensive pork dish we could find, a dish reserved only for the grandest celebrations like weddings, New Year's, or Christmas. Prepare for an entire piglet roasted whole.
The suckling pig weighs around 5 kg and the stuffing and all that goes up to 7 kg. The stuffing is pork meat, then sausage, then dry fruits, raisins, then roasted cashew nuts, breadcrumb, and herbs like cilantro and all that.
To start, we need to prep the stuffing. Heat up some olive oil in a massive copper pan and toss in chopped garlic and onions. Follow that with diced carrots, chopped pork belly, and a splash of red wine. Then add the star of the show, Goen Chizo sausage. Yep, the same flavorful stuff we enjoyed earlier. Now it's time to amp up the flavors even more. Add water, nuts, raisins, salt, white pepper, fresh cilantro, and cubes of herbaceous bread to soak up all those delicious juices. Mix it all together and check it out. Your piglet stuffing is good to go. Next, carefully stuff everything inside the stomach cavity of our piglet. Then seal it shut tight. Now let's surround the piggy with some aromatic goodness. Mix together rosemary, garlic, and diced root vegetables like carrots, red onions, celery, and potatoes. Drizzle with olive oil, season with salt and pepper, and arrange them around our little friend on the baking tray. Lastly, give the pig a nice olive oil rub down to ensure that crispy, bubbly skin we all love. Pop it in the oven and let it bake for a leisurely 4 hours on low heat. Once it's done, give it a final glaze of olive oil and paprika. Then it's time to dig in and savor every succulent bite. This oven-roasted pig is fit for Indian royalty and quite possibly the crown jewel of Goan pork dishes. As you slice into it, the skin crackles like fireworks on the 4th of July. With each bite, you're greeted by a warm embrace of aromas, a blend of spices, rendered pig fat, and savory stuffing. Slow roasted for hours, every morsel is tender, juicy, and bursting with flavor. The smoky essence of chorizo sausage takes center stage in the stuffing, balanced by a subtle sweetness from the dried fruits. It'll have you craving seconds before you've even finished your first bite. So after a day of porking out on these delectable dishes, which one left you pork-struck? I mean starstruck. Was it the toasty Tadena, the smoky Goen Chizo, the age-old Sorpotel, or the special occasion suckling pig? For me, it's it's gotta be that Goen suckling pig. Despite my extensive pork roasting adventures around the globe, this dish still managed to surprise and delight me. Now, over to you. Which one of these porky creations would you serve up to your haram friends? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. And for more indulgent feasts for your senses, be sure to subscribe to Best Ever Food India. Thanks. Bye. Elevate your style with our brand new clothing collection. Rock out in our threads, feel the thrill of culinary adventures, and celebrate with us in style. Head on over to beffers.shop today.